behalf of Public Citizen Texas chapter, and I'll let each person introduce themselves.
Okay. My name is Scott Johnson. I'm the representative for the Resource Conservation Contractors Association, which is folks that deal on energy efficiency here in Austin, weatherization for residences and small commercial projects.
Bridget Shea, former Austin City Council member, and I'm here representing Solar Austin.
Mike Sloan with Vertus Energy. I was on the Generation Planning Task Force.
Colin Meehan with Environmental Defense Fund.
Ruby, introduce
Ruby
yourself.
Roll with Ladies of Charity of Austin, and I'm on the Community Development Commission.
And we had two other low-income community representatives, and I think they weren't able to join us right now.
Yes, and as I said, my name's Kerry Furchill. On behalf of, I think, our entire group here and the people who were with us today to interview these candidates for Austin Energy's director position, we want to thank the city for making the opportunity available. It's not every city that gives us the chance to have this kind of input on a major decision like this. So we really appreciate the opportunity to have been a part of the process. At the same time, I think it would be fair to say that when this process was launched, we all had a vision that Austin Energy needed to acquire some world-class talent to create a transformation of the utility from what it's been in the past to what we can pretty much everybody can see is coming in the future. And candidly, while this process has been long and arduous, it's resulted in a pretty thin pool of two candidates. From the point of view of, I think, unanimously of this group that we met with them today, we have concluded that at least one of the candidates is simply not up to the task. And while Mr. Wright, who is interviewed for the job, appears to be a very competent accountant and has many fine qualities, we don't believe that Mr. Wright is right for Austin. And in general, that leaves us with one man standing. And in general, I think it's the consensus of this group that Mr. Weiss is not really the candidate that we were looking for when this process began. And it is, I think, our universal opinion that the city should consider reopening this process and expanding the candidate pool and recasting this job search. And I want to offer the opportunity for anybody else to speak up on that.
I'll just say to turn the phrase that we think Mr. Wright is wrong for Austin, just to emphasize that point. We'll play on one, sir. But yes, we concur with what Kerry has said in terms of the need to reopen it.
Okay, and we're happy to take questions from any of you.
Mr. Furchill, I'm Michelle Jimenez with Impact Daily, and I was hoping you could elaborate a little bit on what specifically about these candidates make them wrong for this position.
Well, there are a number of issues, and I think every person who was on this interview panel would have their own have their own response to that. I can tell you that from my point of view, with respect to Mr. Wright in particular, my biggest concerns are that he has no experience with a major generator of electricity. Austin Energy generates most all of its electricity, and I think that is a big learning curve. With respect to both candidates, the market in Texas is much, much different than the market in California. We have a totally different culture, political climate, and regulatory system that applies here. And from my point of view, I think the learning curve for either one of these gentlemen would be very, very high. And I think Austin Energy is poised at a position where they cannot afford to put their plans on hold and wait for people to catch up. And I'd be happy for anyone else who wants to add to that. Go ahead, Mike.
I'll add on. One of the things that I think the environmental community sometimes they're seeing this contrast between either we can do green things or our costs are going to go up. You know, there's a trade-off between cost and green. And I think that Austin actually has had a history of doing green power very cost effectively relative to others. And that was one of the concerns in looking at the Turlock Irrigation District. If you look at their annual report, their cost of generation in a 3-year period went up 70%. And we didn't really get a good explanation for why those rates had gone up. Affordability is very important to this entire group, and we have to do green power affordably going forward. Also, they brought on a wind farm. They said their cost of their wind farm is about 9 cents a kilowatt hour. In Austin already, our average cost is about 3.3 cents a kilowatt hour, so much more expensive costs. We're just needed more information to feel comfortable when you had those kind of cost issues.
And I'll just say very, very generally, Bridget Shea, I really think Austin needs a major league player. Austin Energy is recognized nationally for its leadership on clean energy, and I think we need someone who's a major league player. And I don't mean any disrespect, but I think we have people who would be more considered in the minor leagues.
Bridget, could you also address with them that the fact that rates are going to go up in 2012 no matter what? The city has said over and over again.
I'll
we
let
will
Carrie
have
or
rate
somebody
hikes.
speak to that about the
Okay.
rates if they want to
If
hit
someone
on
could
that point.
address it, I think that'd be
Yeah.
good.
Well, candidly, I don't think this is about rates. I think this is about transforming this utility. Our most recent director of this utility has stated publicly there's going to be a major transformation of the utility, a major transformation of its business plan, and Austin Energy needs somebody who can lead that effort and lead it successfully in an environment that's very, very difficult right now and is going to be for the next several years. So from my point of view, it's not about rates. There's no person out there that has some magic wand that's going to deliver electricity for free, not anytime soon. So the question is more, how do you deal with a very difficult environment where rates inevitably are going to go up, costs are going to go up, and you still have to meet the citizens' need for electricity. That's going to be a very challenging task and something that we need to put the right person in this job to make that happen starting day one.
Will you go to the city manager now and ask that you restart the process?
We've passed on our recommendations after we had a chance to be briefed by these candidates and interview them. We had a chance to pass on, and I won't give you all the private comments that we made to the city manager's staff and passed on, but it's the same thing. We have told him that we think that they should consider reopening this process and casting a wider net.
Do you think he'll be receptive to that?
I can't answer that, but I certainly hope that he will be.
My name is Scott Johnson, and prior to this process being available to this, we had already I had slotted a meeting with the city manager for tomorrow, and I intend to keep that meeting, bringing some of the people with me who were present today and were on the interview panel to discuss our concerns in a very open and direct manner. And we hope with that and the momentum that might be gained through the city council interviewing and talking to the candidates this afternoon, that the process would be opened up again. And if that process is opened up again, in my personal opinion, and that includes one of the candidates, Mr. Weiss, so that would be fine.
Any other questions? If
No, I
not,
probably want to grab you for one-on-one sound, but
okay.
you know it's going to pay an end for that.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
for-
Thank you all for coming.